The North African campaign arose from Italy's desire to expand its colonial territories in North Africa and control the Suez Canal, a crucial maritime route connecting the Mediterranean Sea to the Indian Ocean. The plan was to invade Egypt when the Nazis started the invasion of Britain, but as Hitler called off the invasion, after losing the Battle of Britain, Italy invaded Egypt anyway. Italy's dictator, Benito Mussolini, saw the opportunity to achieve territorial gains by attacking British-controlled Egypt. In September 1940, Italy launched its offensive into Egypt, advancing from Libya, along the Mediterranean coast. Whilst Britain was fighting for its life in the Battle of Britain, Mussolini saw his chance to expand into British-controlled Egypt. However, their initial progress was slow, and they faced logistical challenges in maintaining their supply lines across the vast desert. Taking advantage of Italy's weaknesses, British forces led by General Richard O'Connor launched Operation Compass in December 1940. The operation involved a series of rapid attacks and flanking movements, causing the disarray of Italian forces and driving them back across Libya. The British forces were supremely outnumbered by Italy's army but pushed them back nevertheless, subsequently destroying the Italian 10th Army. Alarmed by Italy's defeat in North Africa, Adolf Hitler was not happy with the Italians' capitulation, and decided to send reinforcements to support the Italian effort. In February 1941, the German Afrika Korps, under the command of General Erwin Rommel, arrived in North Africa. Rommel's arrival in North Africa brought a significant change in the campaign. He displayed strategic brilliance and daring tactics, earning the nickname Desert Fox. He pushed the British forces back and recaptured several key areas in Libya. One of the pivotal events during Rommel's advance was the siege of Tobruk, a heavily fortified port city held by the British and Commonwealth forces. The siege lasted from April to December 1941. With the Australian 9th Division playing a vital role in defending the city. As Rommel continued to advance towards Egypt, the British launched Operation Crusader in November 1941. The operation aimed to relieve the Tobruk garrison and halt Rommel's offensive. The British achieved some initial success, but the battle turned into a seesaw struggle. Despite the setbacks at the end of 1941, Rommel launched a second offensive in early 1942, driving British forces back to Gazala, a location near the Egyptian border. In May 1942, Rommel launched a surprise attack, encircling the British forces at Gazala. The British suffered a crushing defeat, and Rommel's forces continued their advance towards the strategic port city of Tobruk. Rommel attempted to break through the heavily fortified British positions at El Alamein in July 1942. However, the British under General Bernard Montgomery effectively repelled the attacks, marking a strategic turning point. General Montgomery took command of the British 8th Army and received substantial reinforcements, including troops and equipment from the United States as part of the Lend-Lease program. In October 1942, Montgomery launched a massive offensive at El Alamein, determined to push Rommel's forces back. After intense fighting, the Allies broke through the Axis defenses, and Rommel was forced to retreat westwards. While the Second Battle of El Alamein raged, the Allies initiated Operation Torch in November 1942. This was an amphibious invasion of French North Africa, with American and British forces landing in Morocco and Algeria. The goal was to cut off Rommel's supply lines and pressure the Axis forces from the west. As German and Italian forces retreated, they regrouped in Tunisia, a region on the north coast of Africa. Tunisia offered more favorable terrain for defense, and the Axis forces sought to hold their ground. As the Allies advanced towards Tunisia, they faced the Muret Line, a fortified defensive position established by the Axis forces. The line was a series of fortifications designed to slow down the Allied progress. The Tunisia campaign extended into 1943, with the Allies gradually gaining the upper hand. In April 1943, they finally broke through the Muret Line and continued their advance, leading to the surrender of Axis forces in North Africa in May 1943. The North African campaign had a significant impact on the overall war effort. It diverted considerable Axis resources from other fronts and demonstrated the resilience and determination of Allied forces after facing a series of defeats in the early years of the war. The campaign taught the Allies valuable lessons in desert warfare, particularly in maneuvering and sustaining operations in the challenging and harsh desert environment. These lessons would prove crucial in subsequent operations, notably during the Italian campaign. The success in North Africa paved the way for the Allied invasion of Sicily, Operation Husky, in July 1943. Sicily's fall led to the collapse of Mussolini's regime and set the stage for the Allied advance into mainland Italy. The North African campaign marked a turning point in the war, providing a much-needed boost to Allied morale. It emphasized the importance of combined arms, logistics, and strong leadership in achieving victory on the battlefield. Additionally, the campaign showcased the tenacity and adaptability of both Axis and Allied forces in a challenging theater of operations. The British victory at El Alamein was the beginning of the end of the war in the Western Desert, eliminating the Axis threat to Egypt, the Suez Canal and the Middle Eastern and Persian oil fields. After the campaign, Winston Churchill said, "It may almost be said, before Alamein, we never had a victory, after Alamein, we never had a defeat."